Welcome back to BK Nothing But Nets. Sorry for the late start. Dylan was being very, very rude. Uh, we are live. I want to ask you a question, Dylan.
Yes.
Knicks fire Thibodeau. Crosstown rivals get to the Eastern Conference Finals, lose in 6. What are your thoughts on Thibodeau?
Yeah, I think it's the beginning of the end. If you look at the past couple of teams that have done this, where they succeed and they move on from a coach, the Lakers did it. The Nets have done it. Um, the Suns just did it. This is the beginning of the end. I would think, right? The like I said, the Bucks are probably the most recent team to do it. They got to the finals. They fired their head coach. They've had 2 head coaches since. Phoenix, since KD got there, he's played for 2 head coaches. The Lakers, they made it to the finals with Vogel, and then they fired him. It's kind of a repeating process for certain organizations where once this happens, it becomes a bit of an issue. I mean, you're telling a team now who just made a conference finals to learn an entirely new system and accept it pretty much. Building a championship caliber team, it takes a lot of trust in your coach as well. So, I think this is going to be very impactful for them. They're lucky they're doing it this year with a weaker Eastern Conference, but ultimately I do think that it'll cause a couple of issues sooner rather than later.
I gotta reset my computer real quick. I'm gonna let you run the point.
Okay.
I'm passing you the ball. You're running point. You're the Jason Kidd. I got to reset, but I want to talk about your trade that you proposed.
Okay.
And then when I get back, let's start the drafts. But I got this weird echo that I got to reset on.
No worries, man. Yeah, I'll just give them a breakdown of what we're doing.
All right.
All right. So yeah, pretty much today we're going to be doing a first round mock draft, updated with trades. There's a scenario where I put out that the Nets could potentially look at 3 lottery picks. We'll probably most likely do 2, but we'll see if we can get that third in there. And then also the mock trade that he's mentioning, I just posted to Twitter if you guys want to go look at it. Again, just hypotheticals, but a fun scenario to look at between the Pelicans and Rockets. Dylan, what was your feelings when you saw the Raptors being a potential option? I think it's interesting, but I'm not sure how you really get a deal done with them. Um, do they look to move quickly in that deal and we have to take back a really bad contract? I don't really know how they're trying to make it work. I wouldn't trade the 9th overall pick and Jakob Poeltl for Cam Johnson. I don't think that makes sense at all. Maybe they do that for Nick Claxton, but I don't see them moving on from 9 and their starting big man just to go for a starting big. So it definitely seems like something Brooklyn would have to add a couple of picks to, whether that's like 19 and 27 to Toronto plus Claxton for 9 and Poeltl. But regardless, I definitely don't know if Toronto is the team most likely to get it done. And again, I think that would have to be kind of a 3-team trade where maybe the Nets get RJ Barrett. I don't really know how you'll make that work, but maybe there's a scenario out there for that. The deal that I put out that we're going to probably discuss here as well was between New Orleans and Houston. And in that deal, I have Nick Claxton, the 19th overall pick and the 26th overall pick heading to New Orleans. I have Cam Johnson, the Knicks 2027 first round pick, and a top 8 protected 2029 Knicks first round pick heading to Houston. And Brooklyn would get Trey Murphy, Jabari Smith, Jock Landale, and the 10th overall pick. I think it's more than fair on both ends when you look at it. Houston wants future draft capital, and they've also been eyeing Cam Johnson for a while now. The whole point of probably getting Cam Johnson and future draft capital is simply because Houston is very much so interested in Devin Booker. That's been reported for the past year. I don't think they're serious about Kevin Durant. It just doesn't make sense. He doesn't fit the timeline. And Booker at this point in his career is probably more valuable than KD is at 37. So I think that this is a move for when Booker inevitably requests his trade within the next year. And then they would be able to have the package necessary to land him. And then for New Orleans, it's simple. They've already mentioned that every player on their roster is available outside of Zion. If they feel that they can get back a good amount of value for Trey Murphy, which in this case I think they're doing that. They need a starting big man, and in this case they're keeping the 7th overall pick as well. So being able to add a starting big while adding the 7th, 19th, and 26th picks to that team, I definitely think could be something of interest for them. And then Brooklyn's case is simple. Trey Murphy, to me, is the next rising star in this league. You're getting Jabari Smith on an expiring contract, so he'll be extension eligible. And not to mention Trey Murphy's only making $25 million for the next 4 years. So to get those two plus the 10th overall pick, now you're looking at 8 and 10 plus those two. You could be looking at a starting five next year of Yegor Demon at the point, Cam Thomas at the 2, Trey Murphy and Jabari at the 3 and 4, and then Kaman Maluak at the 5. And if you're telling me that's even a possibility, sign me up for it. You got 4 guys on your roster that are 6'8" or higher, and then you have Trey Murphy, who's a potential rising star, Cam Thomas, who's an elite scorer, Demon, who's an elite playmaker. Jabari has a ton of untapped potential that could be reached into, and Maluak at 7'2" is probably an immediate improvement over Claxton in my eyes. So I definitely think it would be interesting.
And the trade works across the board. A lot of times
Yeah.
you'll see these 3-team deals offered. It really works for one team or two, but it rarely works for 3. This, I think, makes everybody better. I don't think there are any losers in this draft. I don't know who would dismiss that trade without taking a serious look at it, for sure. So, it makes the Nets a lot better immediately.
Yeah.
And like that would be kind of my question. If you have Murphy, Cam Thomas, and Jabari all in the same starting lineup, does that change the direction of the franchise? Like, what are you looking at for 2026? Are you still looking at a top 10 pick, or what would be your direction on that?
It's hard to really tell, right? Because you have to think of it like the East is weak, yes, but you have a team like Toronto who's likely to improve. You have a
They're
team
still better than you. Yeah.
Yeah, you have Toronto who's likely to improve. You have Charlotte who's going to probably be at a similar level to you next season if they stay healthy, of course. Detroit's going to continue to be better. Atlanta has a chance to add, valuable pieces to get better. And they're also just the traditional 500 team every year that somehow sneaks into the play-in.
Atlanta and Chicago. 9-10 seeds.
Yep. And that's another thing too. Chicago, do they go after a guy like Kuminga where they're able to bring back Giddey, add Kuminga, and draft a guy like Derek Queen? That could be something that's intriguing as well. So I don't know. The East is kind of difficult to tell, but you have to also just look at the West. You have OKC, Houston, San Antonio, Denver, the Lakers, the Clippers. That's already 6. Not to mention you already have Dallas, Memphis. That's already up to 9. That's 8. You have like 8 to 10 teams in that conference who are immediately going to have a better record than you, most likely. So I would still think the pick is in the lottery, and everybody's already giving up on trying to tank because of how the lottery works. So hey, maybe if you're in that 10 through 14 range, you get lucky and get one next year. But regardless, adding a top 10 pick next year is definitely something of value, regardless if you're picking 1 through 10. Of course, top 3 is always the best. But if you're adding Trey Murphy and the 2 lottery picks this year, I think that's more than enough, because you're at the point then where you could package up Jabari, Cam Thomas, and future picks for a superstar, right? That would be like the baseline to a deal. And if your core consists of, Demon, Trey Murphy, Maluak, and whatever else you have on the bench, I think that's an incredible start to being a contender in the East.
All right, so I want
Hi,
to.
Leaf.
What up, Leaf? I want to get into the mock drafts. You had presented an opportunity. We just did the lottery. We end up with 3 lottery picks.
Mm-hmm.
I want to live in that world. I don't know how realistic it is, but none of the trades are absurd, right? Like you're not saying, we're going to trade Cam Johnson for 2, right? Like nothing you suggested in that is on its
Leaf,
face.
we're not giving that up, man. That's not worth it. That shit is not worth it. I'm not going after Ace Bailey that much when I have the opportunity to land guys like Trey Murphy, Jabari Smith on top of landing 2 lottery picks. That is not worth it at all. It's not.
If this was the only trade available to me, and I can't get Fears, I'm
not moving Cam Johnson and 8 to move up to 3. The whole point of Cam Johnson is to move up for a second lottery pick. If you're able to get 3 for 8 and giving up something else to where you can still move Johnson in 19 to move up into the lottery, all right, then I'm thinking about it. Dylan Harper, dude. Leaf, this is where I'm going to have to crash out again. You don't watch college basketball. You don't know anything about the draft. Like, Dylan Harper is solidified number 2. It doesn't matter if it's fucking the Shanghai Sharks picking at number 2. He's going number 2. I don't understand where this is delusion at its finest.
Would you rather pick 8 and 14 or 3?
I'm picking 8 and 14.
I'm taking 3.
Think about it this way, right? If Brooklyn's able to get 2 lottery picks this year, And somehow, let's just say hypothetically, they're able to land a guy like Trey Murphy. That is exactly what OKC did.
No, I would do that. If I
right?
But you're getting me that second star, right?
Yeah.
Like,
we'll put it this way, right? OKC traded for SGA and he became a superstar, right?
yeah.
Say Trey Murphy becomes a star and you're able to take 2 guys in this year's draft. That is almost identical to what OKC did. They got SGA and then they got 2 lottery picks in the same year, which ended up being Chet and Jalen Williams, right?
Yeah, but Chet was taking 2. 2 is different.
I know,
than
but
8.
point being is it's still 2 lottery picks, you know?
Yeah. No, there will be a good player, a very good player available at 8. Do the Nets draft him? I don't know. But there will be a very, very good player, an all-star caliber player available at 8 or later. There always is. Do the Nets draft him? Huh?
It's tough
Yeah.
to say if you're going to draft him or not, but it's, you'll see. I
It'll
think
be
this
there.
class
Like,
has
there
so
will
much
be a
upside.
there will be a very good player available at 8, and it's incumbent on Marks to make the right pick. Will he do it? I don't know.
I don't give a
But-
shit if Mark's job's safe or not, Mark. If he does the right thing, he does the right thing, and we'll all applaud him for it. But he also 9 times out of 10 does the stupid shit. So it doesn't really matter what I think. If he gets
It's
it
not
done,
like I have
I'll be
a
happy.
personal agenda and I want Marks to fail. I want Marks to be the best GM in basketball. That's what I would
Yeah.
like. Except he's not.
It only
right?
helps
We need
us.
to live. We need to live in reality.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Nobody wants to see your GM suck, but he sucks. And until he doesn't suck, he sucks. It's that simple.
Besides a star, which we don't have, your GM is your most important piece.
Yeah.
So we don't have a star, so that means our GM is our most important piece.
And
Our
he's
GM
one of
is
our
Sean
worst
Marks.
pieces as of right now. I don't need to watch college basketball to understand the NBA draft. No, clearly you do. Dylan Harper is solidified number 2. Ace is the one that could fall as low as 6. With the way that some people are rising up this draft. You got guys like Trey Johnson, Con Kneppel, Malawak, VJ Edgecombe, who genuinely could go before Ace Bailey. At least 2 of them could probably go before Ace Bailey. That's how low people are on Ace. And Philly's in a win now mode. They're going to go for the player that they feel best fits them now. Ace Bailey does not fit anybody as of right now. He is a project player that has superstar potential. Dude, this is no Leaf. I'm gonna have I don't even want to do the draft at this point. I just want to debate Leaf on this. This is absurd. Dylan Harper is not falling past 2. I'll put my life savings on it. There's no scenario where he falls past 2.
Because
It
he's
could be
saying
the
because they
Spurs,
have
the Bucks,
Castle,
the
but
Suns,
they're
it
not
doesn't
going to
matter.
draft. They just drafted Castle last year. They're
You
not
go
going to
best
draft.
you go best available simply because you're already a playoff team, and you have the ability to trade that player for a superstar down the line.
Or you can trade
that
Castle. You
Yeah,
can trade
that's what I'm
either
saying.
one of them. There's a huge market right
Leaf,
now.
I'll put 100 on it right now. Live. I'll put 100 on it right now. Dylan Harper goes number 2.
I would not make that bet. I like you, Leaf. I don't want to see you lose 100, but there's no.
I don't want to see you lose $100, but I could use a free $100.
He might not play for the Spurs next year.
Yeah, he may not play.
But
for
he's
the Spurs.
going to go
It could be the
number 2.
Bucks. Yeah,
he's
doesn't
going
matter.
number 2 for sure.
It does not matter who is picking. It could be the freaking Warriors, and they will select Dylan Harper at 2.
Agreed. He's by far the second best player in the draft, and he's the second best player in any draft since Wemby, right? So,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the draft because I can't debate. I can't debate delusion. It's just
if we have time
crazy.
later, we'll go back to your debate with
yeah.
Leaf.
So we're gonna do a full first round mock
excellent.
draft. We're gonna be doing trades as always, and I'm gonna try and keep it as realistic as possible. So the only hypothetical unrealistic part would probably be the Nets. Oh, you have to log back in, unfortunately. You want to do that off camera?
Hang on. Crap. Hang on 1 second. Let me open up this one. Hang on. I think it might work out of the other browser.
Leaf, there's been people who get drafted and 2 months later they get traded immediately. Look at Derek Favors with. I mean, we don't need to use my mock board.
We're good. Oh,
it did come up?
Yeah, I just had to open it up in the other browser.
Yeah, Milwaukee could take him at 2. A team could trade up and take him at 2. The Spurs can trade him at 2 and then trade him a year from now for a superstar. They could draft him now and trade him this summer for a superstar. It really doesn't matter. At some point, you take best available. That's how that works.
Hang on.
Most teams draft based on best available. They don't draft based on fit, especially when you're a team who's already ready to win. If the Mavs were drafting 3, they're not drafting Ace Bailey. They're drafting best available per fit because they're a playoff team. But when you have 1 and 2 and you have 2 prospects in this draft who are solidified 1 and 2, you don't pass on them. Now I'm the only one here. Sad, alone. Oh, and we've lost Gary. This has got to be the longest intro into a mock draft, though, for sure. Gary's back.
I'm back.
There we
miss-
go. Dude, it was like a half a second of misery.
Yeah, I know.
I felt the depression starting to kick in. It was like withdrawals.
All right.
Today on Hawk Show, Cam Johnson was talking about. Yeah, I mean, there's links to Atlanta as well. Terrence Mann, Georges Niang, and the 13th pick for Johnson in 26. It makes sense.
I think it's time for a new contact. I think this contact is shot. Like, it's all blurry. They just go at once. You wear contacts, Dylan?
I do not know. I supposedly have 2015 vision, which is actually even better than 2020, apparently.
Like Tiger Woods and Tony Gwynn. They said Tiger Woods and Tony Gwynn could see like little particles in the air that the rest of us couldn't see.
Yeah.
No. That's how good their vision was.
Yeah, like I'm looking across the street right now and somebody has a sign 4 houses down that's very tiny and I can fully read off of it.
It's wild. My vision is like 2200. All right.
By the way, Dylan, the Utah Jazz that's what they're saying. Like they're just kissing ass. They're not going to go out. They have a top 8 protected pick that was sent to OKC. They're not going to give OKC a free pick. They'll be a bottom 5 team again next year.
All right. Restart draft. Did we save this? Did you want me to? Okay.
Nah, don't even worry about it. I have a screenshot of that. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. All right. Big boy, start the draft. Good.
Let's do it.
All
right. Number 1, trade to the Brooklyn. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna go flag number 1 as always. I am gonna keep Harper at 2. We're gonna do a KD trade.
Despite Leafs' best efforts.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
We're gonna do a KD trade for San Antonio at 14.
Right.
For this pick, I'm gonna have Washington trade up. We're gonna get.
I'm at 3.
Yes, we're gonna have Washington trade up here.
We're
gonna switch it up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So they're gonna give up 6 and 18 for 3. We'll just Philly could throw in an additional pick to Washington. It doesn't really matter to me. I heard something saying that Washington already has like 8 or 9 current players on their roster that are on rookie contracts. It's going to become a financial issue at some point. So you might as well just go for a guy that you really like. And this is the only scenario where I see Ace go at 3 is if a team trades up. I don't think Philly's taking him at 3. So let's do this. We're going to have Ace go 3.
Ace go. I'm leaving it just like this. Just 6.
Yeah, just leave it like that.
Okay.
People can speculate what other things need to be changed to make that work, but I think that's fine. So Ace goes number 3 to Washington. With number 4, we're going VJ Edgecombe to Charlotte. This is one of my locks that I put out there a while ago. I mean, I was saying that like a month and a half before draft lottery night that I think VJ Edgecombe is a perfect fit for Charlotte. Utah at number 5, we're going to do another trade. This is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans moving up 2 spots. And they're going to go ahead and get their guy that they want. Utah's going to drop back and get the guy that Sean Marks desperately loves, the pick before they get to draft, which is going to be Jeremiah Fears at 5, Con Kneppel at 7. Or no, I'm sorry. Actually, we have Philly at 6. We'll see what I want to do here.
All right, so 5, just 5 for 7, and then future draft capital.
Throw in that second round pick to New Orleans. We'll just do that for now, just to make it look prettier. Yeah, just throw in 43. Why not?
43.
Yeah. Again, whatever you want to do additionally to make that work, you can. But overall, that would be the baseline, 5 for 7. So yeah.
All right. And I'm taking Fears at 5.
Yeah, go Fears at 5.
Now Philly's up at 6.
Yeah, we're gonna go Trey Johnson here. They've been linked to him. They like him a lot. There was a rumor going out that they could possibly select him at 3. I don't think they would want to do that. So why not go get your guy at 6? Utah up at 7. We're gonna go Kneppel here. I think that they just absolutely love him, and especially trading back 1 pick before the Nets pick, who have also been linked to Kneppel. It just makes sense. Brooklyn up at 10, or I'm sorry, at 8. This is going to be where we go Maluak at 8. Go ahead and get your starting big. Might as well. And then Toronto is up at 9, right? This is where I'm probably going to have Carter Bryant go. I think that's probably the best fit. I'm thinking, though, for a second. Trying to think. I don't think Toronto is able to land Giannis. I do think they're a team that could go after Sabonis. Yeah, go Bryant. Why not? They may move off of RJ. All right, and that leaves Houston here at 10, and this is where we're going to do our trade. So we're going to do pick 26, the Knicks 2027 unprotected first, and a 2029 top 8 protected first from the Knicks to Houston.
So it's give me that again.
So give up.
20,
no, just give up 26. Yep.
And Cam Johnson?
No. Cam Johnson's going to stay. This is just going to be a straight up pick trade.
Okay.
At least for this, unless if you want to go with the guidelines that we did for the 3-team deal that I mentioned.
It's your draft, bro. It's your draft.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do one with 3 lottery picks, then yeah, do this. So it's going to be the 26th pick, or actually, you know what? Yeah, do 19. Do 19. The unprotected 2027 Knicks pick, and then.
So not 26.
Not right? 26. Yeah, we'll do 19.
19.
So 19 unprotected 2027 Knicks.
19 unprotected 2027 Knicks pick.
And a top 10 protected 2029 Knicks pick.
And top 10 protected 2029.
This pretty much gives Houston the ability to build a package centered around Devin Booker for when that time comes. Like I mentioned earlier, they've been monitoring him for over a year now. I think that is the guy who they got those Suns picks for. I don't see them wasting those picks on Kevin Durant. He's 37, right? Realistically, Phoenix is going to suck again next year. They're not going to have KD. They're going to have minimal coming back in return. You know, I don't see Devin Booker lasting there much longer. So Brooklyn moves up to 10, and that's where we're going to take Noah Senge. 6'9", two-way wing out of France. He is absolutely killing it overseas in the international playoffs, leading one of the better teams internationally. I think he just came off of a 22.14 rebound night on great efficiencies. So he's a guy with a lot of upside that Brooklyn could look forward to and potentially look to move up for if Carter Bryant's off the board.
All right, so we'll get through the lottery and then we'll address it. We're almost done with the lottery anyway. Yeah. Portland at 11.
Yeah, to me it's either Murray Boyles or Asa Noel here. Right, they need a 4.
Do you think Derek Queen's falling off this much?
Yeah, 100%. He's a defensive liability. Not a lot of teams need a big in that area, right?
But there was a time they were talking about him at 5 or 6 after he made the
That's just based on performance, though. There's a difference between guys who play based off of performance and genuine executives and scouts who view players a certain way. Derek Queen's a guy that I don't think is viewed as a top 8. He could go between 9 through 12. But again, if you're looking at 9, right, you have the ability to add Carter Bryant, Yakachonis, or Derek Queen. Toronto's likely not going with Queen there. You have Houston at 10, who could potentially be trading that pick, right? Maybe if Maluak is off the board at 8 and the Nets go with a guard at 8 and then want to move up for Queen, maybe that's the scenario where he goes 10. But I don't think Brooklyn has any interest in Queen as of right now either. And then Portland at 11, right? He could go to Portland, but you have DeAndre Ayton, you have Donovan Clingan, right? Until you figure out what's going on with Ayton, I don't think drafting it big is necessarily a need right now. And with guys like Jeremiah,
together, could you play Queen at the 4 and Ayton at the 5?
I think that's one of the worst defensive big man units in the league.
Fair enough.
They're looking to move off of Jeremy Grant and Anthony Simons at some point. I think going for that power forward is definitely much needed. So it depends. Do they view Murray Boyles as the defensive anchor to that team alongside Denny, Clingan, and Scoot, or do they go with a more upside project player who's also a bit lengthier that could play alongside Clingan and Ayton in Asa Noel? So I'm going to have them go Asa Noel here at 13. Or I'm sorry, at 11.
Excellent pick by Portland.
And then Chicago will go Derek Queen. I think this is an obvious pick that makes a ton of sense for them.
After we just trashed them, great pick.
Yeah.
For Bulls.
Well, I mean, realistically, right? There's not many teams that necessarily need an offensive style big, and I think, with the defensive liabilities that he has, he's a solid rebounder and he's a really good offensive player. He's one of the few bigs that I've seen come in the draft that have the ability to put the ball on the floor and play make as well. The Sengun comps are great, but again, Sengun's not viewed in Houston as like the guy, right? There was rumors about them potentially looking to trade him for Giannis. So at some point he needs to come off the board, right? And I think Chicago's a great fit for them, especially with wanting to move off of Vucevic. So I think that's just a really good idea for them. And then this is where it gets tricky, right? Do we have Atlanta pick and we trade with San Antonio, or do we have the trade up with Atlanta to go and get our guy?
If the board falls like this, I feel like you just got screwed if you're Atlanta. So
yeah.
What do you want to? Yeah, if I'm Atlanta, I may trade out of this pick.
Yeah, so let's do the trade here with Brooklyn. It'll be Cam Johnson, the 26th and the 36th pick for Terrence Mann, Georges Niang, and 13.
So it's 13.
Oh. Gonna have to click on the team.
Yeah, Brooklyn. I got you. All right, so it's 13 for 26 and 36.
Yeah, 26 and 36 plus Cam Johnson. The Nets get back in return Terrence Mann and Georges Niang plus 13.
And we're taking Igor here?
Yep, we're going to go Demon here. So this gives Brooklyn their point guard, their wing, and their center of the future, all three of which are incredibly high upside talents. Again, not realistic in the sense that oftentimes do you see a team trade into the lottery twice while already having a lottery pick? Very, very, very seldom that would ever happen. But it's the fact that the Nets actually have the draft capital and the assets to do so that makes it realistic, right? And especially with some of these teams that are looking to trade out, with Houston, potentially Portland, Atlanta, San Antonio, OKC at 15, there's definitely a scenario and world where if Marks is smart enough and values this class, that he'll try and move up to go and grab those picks.
So just to recap, in the first 13 picks, we got Igor. Who else did? Who did we take yet? Noah Sanjay and Maluak.
Yeah, Maluak at 8, Senge at 10, and then Demon at 13.
It's an international affair for the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah,
that seems to be the way the league's going.
Yeah,
there's better international players in the league currently than there are American players. So might as well go and dabble in the international pool and see if you can land a superstar out of one of them.
All right, San Antonio is back on the board at 14.
Yep, and this is where we're going to do the KD trade. I think Colin Murray-Boyles is a perfect fit for them. I think that they could honestly take the pick and then look to move future picks to do so. But for this case, we'll just have a fun lottery where we do a lot of movement. So we're going to go with Phoenix. Phoenix is going to get the 14th overall pick, and the Suns are going to give up Kevin Durant in that deal. We don't have to go into detail of what the trade looks like. If I had to take a guess, it would probably be Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sochan, and the 14th pick, plus an additional first for Kevin Durant. So if I had to take a guess at it, I think that's what it would be. Did you do the trade? I don't think you sent the pick over.
Did I not?
No, you did. It just took a second to load in. There we go. Okay. All right, so Phoenix is up at 14. They'll also have 29 as well. Here, I think you kind of have to just go best available, and to me, that's Jakučionis, right? Okay. Kind of solidifies you moving Booker back to the full-time too. It also gives you his potential replacement if and when he decides to request a trade.
Now they can trade him,
Yeah, right. And I think that. Oh, did you only click lottery? Oh no, we'll have to do it all over. We can go quick. We don't have to type in the descriptions of how it is, but if you wanna.
Oh, crap. Yeah.
Happens to the best of us. It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
All right.
Wait, hold on.
Leafs crashing out over international players. I can't believe it. Leaf makes me laugh, man.
He's one of the greats for sure.
It's a generational crash out every day. Yeah, click on first round when you scroll up. Yeah. where it says lottery. Go down just a little bit where it says perform lottery. Go to first round.
How many picks would you like to make first round? Yeah?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So we'll just make the trades again without the descriptions just to get back on track. That'll take only 2 minutes. So go Flag, go Harper. We're going to do the trade with Washington to 3. And then I do want to recap the lottery as well just to see how much movement we had. So yeah, do 6 and 18 to Philly for 3. Again, Philly probably has to give something up in that case because I doubt they're moving 3 spots back and also getting 18. So yeah, go 6 and 18 for that. And then we'll go ace at 3 to Washington. At 4, we got Charlotte. We'll go Edgecombe. At 5, we got Utah. We'll have New Orleans trade up for Fears. And we'll, again, just go 5 and 7. Plus that second. Whatever they throw in afterwards is whatever they throw in. But not our job to predict that. So yeah, do 5 and 43 for 7.
Trade pick. And they take Trey Johnson?
Who is this now? This is New Orleans. No, they're going to go Jeremiah Fears.
Fears, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
yes, Leaf.
Philly
That's how a
Johnson.
rebuild works. You go with youth and players with incredibly high upside, not juniors and seniors in college who will be forever role players. Name me the last senior that got drafted that became a superstar. You can't.
Tim Duncan.
Stone Ages, 20 years ago. Drafts don't work that way anymore. What is this? This is Utah. Yeah, go Knipple.
Kenyon Martin.
Don't trade your most valuable asset in Cam Johnson with your most valuable pick in 8 for a guy who potentially could be a bust. No, don't do that. Maluak at 8, and then we're going to go Carter Bryant at 9. We'll do the trade up with Brooklyn at a 10. And we don't have to type it out again, but you guys already know it.
So it's 10 for, what was it, 26? We said?
No, for 19 and then 2 future firsts.
Okay. And we're taking Sengway.
Yeah.
And then Portland, we took Aston Noel, right?
To Portland, yes, Aston Noel.
Excellent pick for Portland.
Okay, so you named one player in the last 20 years. Congrats. And he's also washed now at the age of 30.
And Duncan's more like 30 years ago he was drafted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is an anomaly at this point. I'm not taking
Derek
20, 21-year-olds who have no high upside. Who's the 20-year-old that you want? Outside of Rasheer Fleming, I'm not taking a single upperclassman. You want Danny Wolf and Cedric Howard?
Well, hang on. Where was Brunson picked? He went to school for 4 years, right?
He was drafted in the 2nd round.
Okay, he still went to school for 4 years. What was your question? When was the last time a lottery pick? Okay.
When was the last time a lottery pick who was a senior ever became a star? Outside of Dame, who he just said. It's a rare occasion. Chicago goes Derek Queen here. And then we'll do the trade again with Brooklyn to 13.
All right. And now.
Yeah, so we'll do the trade here with Atlanta.
Okay.
So it'll be 26 and 36 plus Cam Johnson. I mean, shit, you could even do 26 and 27. It really doesn't matter. But I don't think Atlanta wants 3 picks between 22 and 27.
26 and 36 plus Cam Johnson for what is
Terrence
it?
Mann, Georges Niang, and 13. Yeah.
Okay. And then we draft Igor.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, well, we have picks 8, 10, and 13, Leaf. So who are you picking at 13 that's an upperclassman over Igor Demon?
Fleming.
Yeah, like, come on. Fleming's available at 19 if you really want him. All right. Spurs are up. They're going to trade this pick to Phoenix for KD. Just say KD trade. Again, we don't have to predict the the exact package, but if I had to take a guess, it would be Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sochan, and then pick 14 and a future first. But yeah, so Phoenix will get 2 first-round picks this year from this. And then, yeah, you can trade that straight up. All right, so we're back on track. So Phoenix goes Kasparis Yakuchonis out of Illinois. Combo guard. Again, could be the Devin Booker replacement if he decides to request that trade. OKC's up here at 15. This is where I'm in between Murray Boyles and Nee Clifford. If Boyles falls, you'd have to think they go with him, but at the same time, he could very well fall because of his offensive issues and liability. So let's go Nee Clifford here. He's rising up boards. They have him projected at between 13 and 17. You know, OKC getting bailed out once again with a pick in the top 20. So they go and grab a guy who's an immediate win now player that they could plug in right away. Orlando's up here at 16. This is where I'm probably going to go. This is tough. Scroll down a bit. Yeah, try and scroll down a bit. I got to see what's on the board here. Like, I don't hate them going Cedric Coward here with the way that he's risen up boards. They could use a 2 who's lengthy and plays both ends of the floor. They're also a team who's looking to compete now. I also have them
Coward a shooter though?
20. Oh yeah, he's highly efficient from all levels of the floor. Here, I'll look at his stats right now. I think he shot a borderline 50, 40, 90. Let's see. Cedric Coward's stats. He averaged almost 18.7 rebounds and almost 4 assists a night on 55.7% shooting from the field, 40% from 3, and 84% from free throw. Yeah, he's pretty efficient.
All
right. So Orlando, yeah. Let's go Coward there. You could really debate whether it's him or Nolan Traore. Minnesota here at 17. This is where I'm going to go Colin Murray Boyles. I just don't see him falling any further. And if it becomes an issue with one of Randall or Naz Reid, then this could be the replacement for one of them. Matches the mold of how Minnesota plays with a ton of defensive upside. So I think that's a really good pick for them. And then for Philly
already
here,
got Trey Johnson. Yeah,
this is where I'll go Rasheer Fleming. Like this is better for Philly than Acevale.
Yep. Keep him home.
So Rasheer Fleming and Trey Johnson heading to Philly. That's a great draft for them. Houston is up here at 19 with Brooklyn's previous pick. This is where, let's see. So you have to figure they get Cam Johnson. Or no, they didn't get Cam Johnson in this scenario.
No.
So they have a package now for Devin Booker. So let's just say in reality, they're likely to move off of Jalen Green at some point in the near future. Reed Shepherd. So you would want to think probably point guard. I could see Nolan Traore going here. This is not a bad option for him whatsoever.
Miami.
Okay, Miami's up here. This is where I'm going to have Orlando trade up. So we're going to just do a basic pick 24 and whatever their highest second round pick is for 20. So a 4-spot move back. Miami adds an additional pick in this year's draft. I think 46. That's more realistic. Yeah, 25 and 46 for 20. If Orlando has to throw something else in there, they can. But I don't see Orlando taking 4 players this year. And then Orlando moves up to 20. They already got Cedric Coward. I really don't think they need a point guard. And if they do, they're going to trade for one. So for me, go ahead and again, just grab a really good upside shooter. Go Will Riley here at 20. A bit of a better two-way player than Liam McNeely is, which is why I have him falling. And then Utah is up here. This is one of 2 options. They could go Sorber or they could go Jace Richardson. And I really don't mind the fit for Jace Richardson there. They could also go Danny Wolf, honestly, but I don't think Wolf gets taken before Sorber. Who's up next? Can you see that on the top right for the next team coming up? Atlanta. Okay. Yeah. So let's go Jace Richardson here for Utah. I think they could definitely use a point guard, and he can also he's a combo guard. He can play the 1 and the 2. He has that ability to be a CJ McCollum-like player. So I definitely don't hate it for them. And then Atlanta now has 2 firsts. They'll have 22 and 26 plus the late second or the early second from Brooklyn. We'll probably end up going Thomas Sorber here. I think that's a perfect fit for him. And at 26 it'll be difficult. But I mean, they could also go McNeely here because of the upside, and then draft a big like Danny Wolf or Beringer afterwards. So it really depends on what they're valuing most. Let's see. Yeah, let's go McNeely here at 22. I don't hate it.
He's got to go at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorber's still on the board. You got all three. Yeah.
And that's where we're going to have Indiana go as Sorber because there's question marks around Miles Turner and whether or not he's going to be able to return.
Your NBA champion.
Yeah, I think that's
Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, let's go Danny Wolf here to OKC. Again, just a guy that I think matches what they need perfectly for when Isaiah Hartenstein's time is ready to go. Miami up here at 25. This is where I'm going to go Noah Penda. I think that they just love certain players, and this is a guy who matches everything that they like. Atlanta back up. This is where we'll go Juwan Beringer. They get their backup big to Onyeka Okongwu. Beringer more of the defensive guy. Onyeka has that two-way ability where he can stretch the floor, defend highly. So I think that's a good pick for them. And then Brooklyn back up at 27. You already have your wing. You already have your point guard. You already have your center. At this point, you're kind of just drafting best fit, best available. And I think that this is where you kind of go with an upperclassman and Ado Thiaro. A bit different than Noah Senge. Just a bruiser down low, kind of reminds me of a more athletic, better all-around version than Dorian Finney-Smith.
Do you really want to draft again, or do you want to trade this pick? I mean, you want to draft 4 times? I'll do it.
For this case, why not? Because you already gave up a plethora of picks. You might as well just go ahead and grab guys. But in this scenario, yeah. If this was the Trey Murphy, Jabari Smith to Brooklyn scenario, then yeah, I would definitely trade that. And then we have Boston up here at 28. I'm going to go Maxime Reynad for them. I think that makes a ton of sense for him. You got to find that Porzingis replacement, and he fits that perfectly. Phoenix with their second first-round pick after the KD trade. Let's go Bogoljub. I think that's, again, a perfect fit. If you're able to move off of KD, you grab a high upside point guard, you grab a high upside power forward, and then you still have Devin Booker at the 2, Nick Richards at the 5. You still have Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen. It's an interesting team. Is it a team that I think is a play-in team in the West? No, which ultimately leads to Devin Booker leaving. But you got to try and do something at some point. And then with the final pick of the first round, this is the Clippers. I'm in between on this one because people have Ben Surratt falling to the second round. People have Hugo Gonzalez falling to the second round, but you would have to think it's one of the two, if not Drake Powell. In this case, who fits the Clippers best? And I think that to me is probably Drake Powell. You already have Bogdan Bogdanovic, which is who I think Hugo Gonzalez is. So to me, yeah, I think Drake Powell makes a ton of sense with that final pick in the first round. I didn't do as many late trades as I was going to try and shoot for. I wanted to have Charlotte move up at some point, but I think that this is a perfect example of what, a top-heavy trade-up scenario could look like in the lottery.
So we ended up with Asengwe, Maluak, Igor Demon, and Thiaro. Ado Thiaro.
Yeah.
Rate the draft. How would you
I'm
rate
giving
this?
it a 9
you gotta
out
be
of 10.
happy with it.
Yeah, you got to give that you have to, when you can't get Flagg or Harper, you're already down a point. So to me, this is the best case scenario. If you're able to land 3 lottery picks, and if these are your picks, then yeah, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I think that's really good.
What do you think is more likely? They get 3 lottery picks, or they do the trade that we discussed at the top of the show?
I think it's more likely you get 2 lottery picks and a young player through a trade, right? Whether that's Jabari, Trey Murphy, there's guys out there that you could get. In the perfect world, Houston does a trade where you don't have to give up Cam Johnson, so you could then move Cam Johnson to a team like OKC, San Antonio, Atlanta, whatever the case may be. But that's in a perfect world, and we also have Sean Marks as a GM, so we never live in a perfect world. But overall, I think you have to expect a second lottery pick in Brooklyn at this point. Like, if you don't get that, there is no excuse for Sean Marks to have a job.
But we've already passed the point where there's an excuse for Sean Marks to have a job. He's got a job because there's one person in the world who thinks he's good at his job, and it's the only person that matters. That's Joe Tsai.
Who's no one else thinks he's selling off the team bit by bit to the Koch family, but hopefully he gets that done sooner rather than later. I want him out too.
Does the Koch family keep the team in Brooklyn?
I don't care what they do with them. Just get Joe Tsai and Sean Marks out of there. Yeah, that'd be the perfect thing for Brooklyn. But hey, maybe they move us back to Jersey, which I would respect much more. But oh well, we'll see.
Can we bring the old color scheme and logo back?
I would absolutely love to. This color scheme that we've had in Brooklyn for far too long is so excessively boring. How much longer are we going to rock black and white? The only team that could do that is San Antonio. Let's just give up on it. Like, you want to make it black and white, sure, but make it pop a bit. I mean, they got such boring jerseys. Like, every year I'm not going out of my way to buy a base regular jersey of us. Like, I'm buying the throwbacks, I'm buying the city editions because there's nothing interesting about a plain black and white jersey.
The black one that says Nets is cool. But yeah, they're pretty basic. The black and white color scheme is
the red,
cool.
The red, navy, blue, and white color scheme is one of the best in all of sports. You have the Patriots that wear it, the Nationals that wear it. You had the Nets at one point that wore it. Like, the Giants wear. Like, every team in every sport has some color scheme with the red, navy, blue, and white. So it's like, why not bring it back? It was by far better than what you're rocking with now.
Someone can I find it on Twitter? Someone put up.
Oh, it was Nets season.
It was a Nets season. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah,
it was cool. I'm with it.
I think I actually had a guy make that for me. I'm not sure. Let me see. Which ones.
Hang on.
Either he made them and I had a guy make them to put them on a jersey swap of Mikal and Cam Johnson, or my guy made those and other people started using it. It's one or the other.
Yeah. Let me share this. That's the one right there. That's the keeper right there.
That's fucking awesome. All of these are keepers.
That one's awesome too. But yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna continue with the black and white, at least make it look like better.
Yeah.
There's just nothing interesting about our jerseys. We've got one of the boringest jersey sets in basketball.
That's
like,
dope,
go,
right
go
there.
and make it cool.
Yeah.
You want to make it black and white? Make it cool.
The black Brooklyn jersey and then the silver Brooklyn jersey.
All of those jerseys that he posted look sick.
That's
like,
dope.
I would take all of them. That should be the rotation. Why not? You got your throwbacks in those, and you have your base in the black and white and a different one. Like, there's no reason not to have.
And this would be the base colors right here. This one.
Yeah,
and
you
the
would
white
have to
one.
think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make those the bases, and then make the others your permanent alternates. Like, how hard is that?
You'd go sell a bunch, because you're right. Like, we've had our jerseys for so long. I have a D'Lo jersey like that.
It's just such a boring jersey to look at. It looks good on you because it's neutral, it's easy to wear, but there's nothing eye-popping about it. There's nothing cool about it. It's just black and white.
But if they got one of these, I would. Yeah,
I'd buy it.
I would wait to see what they did in the offseason, but I'm ordering a new one. I just don't know who.
Say we get 3 lottery picks. I'm buying a jersey for each of them with one of those players on it. Like, why not?
Yeah. So it's gonna increase jersey. Well, you don't change the jerseys, and now their city edition jerseys, the crow ones or whatever the hell they call it.
I don't even know what the city edition was this year because of how bad they were. I don't even care.
Well, it was hang on.
I was gonna say, what did we even rock this year? I watched a majority of the games, but Jesus, I can't even remember this season.
It was the same as the last year, but they took here, let me pull it up. Nope. Hang on. It was these.
Oh, yeah. The cause ones. Those were horrible.
Yeah, the cause. That's what they call it. Yeah.
It was literally like if children were able to scribble on a piece of paper and were like, put this on a jersey. That's what
they're easily the worst jerseys ever. Easily. I don't know. And it was the same one they had last year, except they took more gay coloring out. Like, these are horrible. Like, I'm not going to order this. This looks ridiculous. They keep doing it. So next year, let's go away with this and let's go to something that's not awful.
I agree.
Let's just go with the ones that Dylan showed us. Like, those were good. Like, the Nets have had so many awesome jerseys. Like these. So I have this up. So I still have it up.
Mm-hmm.
These were awesome. These are cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. I have one of those. I have a KD one of that.
Let's go back to something like that. These were good. I mean, I'm not going to get a Claxton jersey, but you get my point.
Yeah, no, I'm
These were
definitely not
good.
getting a Claxton. I was going to get a Claxton jersey 2 years ago, but as soon as I said I wanted a Claxton jersey, it was like boom, trade rumors, and I was like, nope, not going to do it. It's gonna bite me in the ass like the Ben Simmons, the KD, and the Kyrie jerseys did. Not going to do
For
it.
a team that has had really bad history, the Nets have had really good jerseys.
No,
Like
for sure.
really
I mean,
good.
even the all gray ones that had the BKYLN on it, those were sick.
Yeah,
The
like
city
I call
editions.
the Karis LeVert 50-point game jerseys.
Yeah, like those were sick. You had the Black City edition ones that were awesome. You had the Bedstoy, both versions of them, which were awesome. Like they've had great jerseys in the past. This year, it's like they gave up on it because they knew they were going to suck. It's like, why even bother putting something cool out if we're going to be miserable? Which they made it more miserable by winning useless games. So
These
whatever.
are these are my top 3 favorite Net jerseys. I love these.
I mean, if you're talking as the Nets as a whole, I'm not picking a single Brooklyn jersey over any of the New Jersey ones. I still love
So
the navy blue and white
the best Net jersey of all time is the Dr. J home
for
jerseys, the
sure.
white with. Okay,
And I
that's
unfortunately bought that in a Ben Simmons one. So, but my favorite number is 10, so I could always just replace it with my name on the back. Like I don't
there you
care.
go. Yeah,
Just put a piece of
and
tape
then
over it. Put Nets
I would
press.
say these are 3, and then the silver 90s 2000 jersey
Yeah.
slide.
See, am I crazy for saying I would still pick the white or the red and the navy over the gray?
Like I don't know these.
It's tough, but I'm a neutral guy. Like I really like the way that they just looked on everybody. The gray, it was like, all right, certain people rocked it. Like Kid and Vince looked great in it, but other players, it was like, why are you wearing that? Take it off. You look horrible.
That's my second favorite Nets jersey of all time.
Yeah, they are sick. I don't know. See, but for me too, I'm also more of a white than a gray guy. So like, if I had to choose, right, the red and the navy blue are by far my favorites, based on New Jersey, plus the Dr.
Like this
J's.
one, like this jersey.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
Vince one in that. Yeah.
Yeah, because Kid only wore this jersey for half the season, so it's hard to find a Kid jersey. I was gonna get Harris or D. Will, but I don't want to get Harris or D. Will. I want to get
Devin
Kid.
Harris would be fucking cool. Or are you talking Joe Harris?
Devin Harris.
Oh,
Devin
okay.
Harris.
I was about to say
Yeah.
we're not doing Joe Harris jerseys here. Hell no.
No, we're not doing that. No. Devin Harris and Joe Harris didn't wear it. Joe Harris never played for.
No. But I mean, you could always make a.
You know what would be a cool jersey? Gerald Green, because the dunk was in this jersey.
That would be cool.
That would be a cool jersey. I don't think people would. You could separate the hardcores from the casuals if you recognize a Gerald Green jersey.
For sure. But yeah, that's like pulling up to an arena with what is it, like a Reggie Evans jersey. Nobody's gonna be able to tell that.
I remember watching that. I was just married, and Gerald Green did that dunk, and my wife, who's not a basketball person at all, just says it and goes, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, no, that's by far a top 5 dunk of all time for sure.
In game, yeah, it's top 5 easily. It was so high. Yeah.
His nose was above the rim. But yeah,
it's an insane dunk. Yeah.
But what's today? Wednesday? I mean, I may drop another mock draft or a mock off season earlier than expected because that Trey Murphy trade is incredibly intriguing. My only thing is I want to figure out if it's possible for Houston to trade Jabari Smith because he's on a team option, and that doesn't start until free agency. So it's like, can they trade him beforehand and like come to an agreement where he accepts the team option, or they accept the team option and trade him? I don't know. I would love for that to happen, though, so this way we don't have to take the risk of Houston picking a player for us. But even then, usually when you have a trade in agreement, that you can't make that you're going to make after draft night, usually they'll pick the player for you. So I wouldn't mind that. But that's why I'm saying, too, for Nets fans, like, don't be too crazy if they don't get a player that you want. Like, they could still trade for that player by using Johnson or Claxton to go and get that guy. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if you were to do Nick Claxton and like 3 future picks for Jeremiah Fears and Trey Murphy. That'd be sick.
I want to live in that world. Like, does 6 get us Jeremiah Fears if we trade with Washington?
I would think so. Well, no, because you have to think potentially New Orleans trading with Utah to move up to 5. So unless if New Orleans has stayed pat and you're at pick number 6 and Fears is still available, then maybe.
Here's my problem with New Orleans. What is Zion? Is he going to be your point guard in crunch time?
Zion?
Then don't
use the word Zion and crunch in the same sentence. He may get hungry.
But was like, if you're keeping Zion, which it looks like all reports say they're keeping Zion after
Yeah,
all
no, they're
reports said
definitely
they
keeping
weren't
him.
keeping Zion.
Yeah.
Right now, it looks that way. I wouldn't put definite and Zion in the
Well,
same
Joe
sentence.
Dumars said that he sent him to the draft lottery for a reason.
Yeah.
That's because they want him there, and that's what I said too when he was there. I was like, "Why the hell is he there?" And I was like, "Wait, he's
They
not
got to be
going
keeping
anywhere."
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. If he's healthy, at his fattest, he's giving you 25, 7, and 4, like on 60% shooting. Like, hell yeah, you keep that. Why not?
Which is why I wanted him, and you guys all mocked me.
Yeah, if you get him away from women and food, my God, he could be a Hall of Famer.
New Orleans is the wrong city to be in to get away from women and food. It's the wrong
100%.
city to be in.
Horrible. I mean, it is like that's like putting Ja Morant in Chicago. You don't do that. He's going to get in trouble.
And why can't these guys get a higher caliber of chick? Like, they're all world superstar, multi-millionaire professional athletes. Why are they going with chicks who are completely mid? And mid's being generous on some of these chicks.
The like, Mariah Mills and Zion thing is hilarious because she scares me as a person. Just visually.
The market is this inflated where being Zion Williamson only gets you that?
That's a problem.
Sauce Gardner, 2-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, all that gets you is what Ice Spice?
Whatever it is, I don't even know. It could be a new one this
that's
week.
5. Like, I mean, that's it. We're not gonna have that debate again.
Hopefully he's not here.
I gave her a 5. You gave her a 4. I thought a 4 was a little harsh, but it's not out of the realm of it's not off the charts, out of the spectrum.
No,
like,
I thought it was realistic. I thought it was being generous.
She's between a 4 and a 6, so I went with a 5. Right? Yeah. And you're Sauce Gardner.
I don't know, if you're not my girlfriend, then automatically you're a 5 or below.
You're 6'3", jacked, millionaire, all-pro, professional athlete, and you get a 5.
You're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. Who gets the 10s anymore? Who gets the 10s? Is that just out? Like, no one gets, like...
I'd like to think I did, but...
There you go. There
we go, right? Anybody I'm with, I'm thinking is a 10. But, I mean, she's also gorgeous, so it doesn't matter. But, yeah, I mean, overall, if you're looking at the avenues of how Brooklyn can take this draft and offseason, the possibilities are through the roof. Like, New Orleans saying that none of their players are untouchable outside of Zion is huge for me, and that's why I'm all over Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy is probably one of, if not my favorite young, non-considered star player in this league as of right now. Like, it was Cade last year because he wasn't a star yet. Now he's a star. He's by far my favorite young player in the league. But Trey Murphy is that next guy who I think could reach that star level. I mean, last season in itself,
Cam Thomas at the 2, Igor at the 1. I think that works.
100%. I mean, if you're looking at Trey Murphy's stats from last year, the dude averaged 21.2, 5.1 rebounds, 3.5 assists. He shot 45.4% from the field, and he shot 36% from 3. You have to think the efficiencies went down a bit just because of Zion being out, Brandon Ingram being out. He was doing it all on his own. But nonetheless, I mean, he balled the hell out. He played great. If you look at, I'm looking at his last couple of games of the season. Let's see. In the month of March, he put up 20, 19, 26, 13, 27, 21, 17, 20, and then he didn't play the final game. Yeah, I mean, he's rising for sure. This is a guy who could genuinely be a second option, third option in this league.
Because they were so bad and they play in New Orleans, no one paid attention to him last year. But if you look at Trey Murphy's stats, yeah, they were all-star good, especially the second half of the season.
Yeah. No, he played incredibly. That's why I'm saying if there is an honest, realistic chance that he is available, outside of a Giannis trade, what do they look at? And to me, I think it's starting big. The contracts match up between him and Claxton, right? I think Murphy's much more valuable than Claxton, so I would be more than willing to give up the 19th pick and a future first for him if that was the deal straight up. I would 100% do that. That leaves you Cam Johnson, 26, 27, and 36 to move up for a second lottery pick. I'm doing it.
Where? Yeah, here it is. That's new draft cap. It's cool. I remember they had a draft cap last year, even though they didn't have any draft picks. So it was like,
yeah, I know. What is Cam Johnson's salary? He's at $20.5 million currently, and it's a descending contract as well. I think it goes even lower than that next year.
No,
But
it
he's
goes
also
to 22.
extension.
It's 22,
Oh, it was
20,
front loaded
22,
and then
20.
back. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Which is probably because he's extension eligible and he'll just get an extension rather than getting that 22.
I don't give about not from us. But these are the
No,
draft caps. They're
no,
pretty
I
cool.
hope the fuck not. I will be so angry if I see breaking news. Cam Johnson's getting extension from the Nets. I'd be like, Sean Marks, please leave. Get out.
It's a cool hat, but $43 for a hat, that's a little steep.
Johnson and Broom over Trey Murphy. Jesus Christ. I can't tell if that's a troll or not. Janai Broom sucks. The guy is horrible. That is literally Luka Garza 2.0 in the NBA. Top tier senior in college. Horrible combine. Middle second round pick. Never plays. That's
$50 for
literally
a
Janai
hat
Broom.
once you factor in shipping. $50 for a hat. That's out of pocket.
I can make that hat myself.
I got $860 off though using
Oh, you got it?
No, I was just looking to see how. Oh, it's $55 after shipping and tax. $55 for a hat. Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
That's out. But I got an $8 coupon.
No, I refuse to buy anything that's related until they actually hit on these picks. I'm not investing in a jersey or anything until they actually show that they're investing in us as fans.
What if they get Fears? You gonna buy a Fears jersey?
Oh, I'm buying a Fears jersey immediately. Are you kidding?
Oh, so okay. So potentially,
no, I'm saying if they land players that I like, I'll definitely get a jersey or something. But I don't know. I'm waiting until, because if they end up walking away with Kasparis Yakachonis, Danny Wolf, and fucking Walter Clayton, I'm gonna be angry. Like, I'm not doing it. I'd be so pissed if that was our draft.
We'll see. I get it. It's Sean Marks and the Brooklyn Nets, so I don't have super high expectations.
Yeah, I have like 20 players that I want. If they select the 10 players I don't, I'm gonna be. I may not be.
You'll be here.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna go? You're a New Jersey Nets fan. You're clearly not a Brooklyn Nets fan, right? You're clearly not a bandwagon fan. So
yeah,
you'll be here.
It would be so much easier if I was.
So much.
Agor over Fears. We keep picks. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I wouldn't trade up for Fears. If he falls to 8, go for it. But if he gets selected a pick or two before us, I wouldn't take the risk in trading up for him. Yeah, I think he's going to be great. I see a Dame Ja-like player. I think he's going to be a solidified star in this league, but I definitely wouldn't trade up for him, especially if you can get a second lottery pick. 2 high upside prospects overtakes 1 high upside prospect, which is what Leaf still can't understand about moving up to go for ace. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, give me Maluak and one of Igor or a Senge over just Fears or Ace. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm looking at it this way: if you can get 2 of Demon, Fears, Maluak, Carter Bryant, or a Senge, that's a victory. Especially if you can get a young player through a trade, whether that's Jabari, Trey Murphy, whoever it may be. I think that's great if you can do that. That is a perfect start to a rebuild.
The problem, okay, like you got Trey Murphy, you got Cam Thomas. Where's your star though? Like,
I think. Oh, you said Trey Murphy?
Yeah.
I think that's your star. I think
that's
your
secondary.
First
star. That's just
right.
I mean, Trey Murphy's not carrying you to the promised land.
No, definitely not. But I think the upside on, like, say you do end up getting, right, Jabari, Trey Murphy, Demon, and Maluak. I think one of Demon or Maluak becomes a star.
You bet. Yeah, if you get both of them,
right, you have to think one is able to develop into a star. You still have Thomas, right? You still have Thomas and Jabari, who you could later then use for a trade for a star. So at that point, you're expecting one of Demon or Maluak to become a star. You have Trey Murphy, who is at the borderline of being a star, and then you trade for that final piece. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the blueprint of rebuilds work. You trade for your missing piece, or you originally get your piece, right? And then through the draft, you get your 2 other guys. That's how Brooklyn should play it out.
We did deal man. Does Dyson Daniels become the backup point guard starting? You know what I'm saying? Does he, in essence, become the backup point guard?
No, I think he's still the starting shooting guard.
I know he's starting 2 guard, but when Trey comes off the court, you put Dyson at the point. You know what I'm saying?
You could, but you could also just go into free agency. There's guys like Trey Mann available. You have backups like Trey Jones and Tyus Jones available.
Trey Johnson is Yeah. Trey Jones, yeah. Trey Johnson. Trey Jones.
There's picks out there and guys out there that you can grab. realistically. I mean, even if you were to take Ben Seraph at 26, like we had in our mock draft, you could take Seraph in a center at 22. You could go Sorber and Seraph. It just depends on how Atlanta wants to play things out. But they also have a ton of players heading out. Clint Capella and Karis LeVert brings them like $37 million total through free agency. I don't think they have that amount in cap space, but they'll still have a mid-level exception, which is about 12 to 13 million. So they could grab a guy for that.
And then you're gonna make us mid. I mean, you want to respond? He's kind of right. Getting Trey and Jabari.
Realistically, you have to look at it in two ways, right? The Thunder traded for SGA. They molded him into a superstar. Then they drafted Chet and Jalen Williams in the same year, both of which were lottery picks. That's similar to what you're doing here. You trade for Trey Murphy. You hope that he becomes a star, which he's already on the borderline of being. He's not going to be a superstar, but you get him as a star. You hope that one of your 2 lottery picks becomes a star. Now you have 2 stars. That's a foundation. And now you have the future draft capital plus the players to package up to go and get that third superstar, that third and final piece, which should be a superstar.
Well, let me ask you a question. Just on an island by themselves, who would you rather have? Trey Murphy or Kuminga?
Trey Murphy, without a doubt. It's not even close to me.
I think it's very close.
Trey Murphy is levels ahead of him offensively, and defensively, he's also much better than him. Trey Murphy.
He's a better wing defender. Bigger, strong threes can have
6'8", lengthy, super athletic, and hits the three at an accelerated rate.
He's a good player. He's a good player. Incredible. He's done it where Kuminga hasn't. Kuminga really when you pay Kuminga $30 million a year, understand you're paying him 100% of that based on potential, not what he's done in the league.
Yep. Jabari Smith averages 13 and 8 a night, roughly. And that's in a system where he's not being utilized or developed properly. He's only 23. He still has upside. He can get to 16 and 9 for sure. And that to me is a solid 4th option on a team. If you can get him young and extend him for 20 to 25 million a year, you would pretty much have Trey Murphy, Cam Thomas, and Jabari Smith making similar money, with the possibility of packaging up Cam Thomas and Jabari in the near future, plus picks and young players for a superstar. I absolutely am doing that 100%.
And then last we got to circle back to the Knicks, and then if Leaf wants to argue with you, I
don't even think Leaf's in here anymore, and I'm hungry.
All right,
I gotta eat. I've had 4 eggs and 2 pieces of toast today. I gotta get something in me.
As far as the Knicks, who's their next head coach?
I think it's the one of the assistants. I'm forgetting from where. I think it's from Indiana.
Johnny Bryant was the name that was mentioned.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the next guy.
It's rough though. In an all-in year, you hire a rookie head coach. I think
Mike Malone heads to Philly, and I think the assistant from Indiana ends up going to New York. I think that's a good fit. Or Mike Budenholzer. They had prior interest in him before.
Yeah, Budenholzer sucks. Like
Budenholzer. Hey,
I know. I get you want.
Hopefully they do it. It's better for us.
That's to say, this thing is going to blow up. Now you're going to try to trade Cat and Bridges.
I would say Bridges and Brunson are the 2 that would stay no matter what because of their links together. I think at some point, I think they're definitely going to move on from Cat, but I think OG at some point is going to cause an issue where he's like, I want out. I think that's how that works.
But I would say the contracts with Bridges and Cat for Freak, the contracts work. The money works. So
Cat for what?
Cat and Bridges for Freak.
Yeah, but they don't have the picks. Why? There's no point. What are you going to do?
Well, because the
7th seed and have no picks.
Did the Lakers have the picks for Luka?
No, but the league also made that call. The league has genuinely not liked the Knicks forever. I mean, they had the ability to land Zion, and they couldn't. They did not let them. I don't think the Knicks are beloved that much by Silver.
Yeah.
Silver loves teams that are just on the brink of playoff contention to give them what they want. To keep them in the
He has not favored the Knicks. That's fair. He has not. Well, no, that was still the Zion trade was still Stern, wasn't it? The Zion trade was still David Stern.
I thought Stern was out in like 2017.
I thought that was his last. He was definitely out by COVID. Hang on, David Stern. Let me look.
I think he was out well before that.
He died January. Oh, you're probably right. Yeah, 2014.
When did Adam
Okay,
Silver become
2014. You are
Oh,
correct.
it was 2014. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
so well before then. That was 2014. Was what? Was that the
Anthony
that's not-
Davis?
No, Anthony Davis was 2012 because Kyrie was 2011. What was the 2014 draft class? Was that no? Jaylen Brown was 2015 because Tatum was 2016. Oh, that was the Andrew Wiggins, Embiid, Jabari Parker draft class.
Oh, that's why no one could remember it.
Yeah.
Unmemorable draft.
Yeah,
Embiid was 3, and then other than that,
yeah. Wiggins went 1, and then Cleveland traded him for Kevin Love. And then who went 2 that year? Was Jabari 2?
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now. It was
Holy shit, that's terrible.
Jabari Parker at 2, Embiid at 3. That's obviously the best pick in the draft. Aaron Gordon at 4. Randall
Which at
7.
the time was a great pick. Yeah.
This. Nick
Dante
Stauskas
Exum at 5.
What are you
Marcus
thinking? Who picked Sacramento? My God.
Noah
Nick
Vonleh at 9.
What about Nick Stauskas screams top 10 pick to you?
Who is Adrian Payne?
Where do you see Adrian Payne? What number?
Adrian Payne
Oh,
went
15th.
15th. Who the
Alan,
fuck
who is Adrian Payne? He went to Atlanta. I don't know this guy. But he still
Never
got
heard of
Levine,
him in my life. Bruno
Randall.
Cabalco,
You still got good players in this draft.
Mitch McGary, Jordan Adams. These are names I've never heard of in my life. Josh Huestis,
This is a terrible draft.
Damian Inglis,
Joe Harris at
Charnel
33.
Stokes. Like, yeah, this is horrible.
Glenn Robinson.
That's really bad.
Look at 41.
Who is it?
Nikolai Jokic.
Wow.
He ended up being okay.
He got drafted during a Taco Bell commercial too.
Taco Bell. This is a terrible draft.
It's fitting for him.
Thomas at 51. It is a terrible draft. But even at that, there's still some decent players in it. Clint Capella.
Yeah, it was definitely more of a later round steal than it was top heavy.
Warren, Zach LaVine, Julius Randle, Marcus Smart, Aaron
Like LaVine
Gordon.
not going top 5 is crazy for that class.
Yeah, he was so pissed when he got drafted at 13 also. He did not want to go to Minnesota. I don't know where he wanted to go, but remember he was pouting when he was drafted at 13.
Yeah. What a time.
That's a terrible draft. That really is a terrible draft. All right. I want to come back. I'm going to be gone the next couple of days. I want to come back, but we'll talk about it off air.
Yeah, I'll be around Saturday or Sunday. I know that you said you're busy tomorrow and Friday.
I'll text you. I'll text you on Friday. We'll figure something out for the weekend. I'm going to be out of town, but I could do it from my hotel. That's not a problem.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, let's definitely. I think Sunday is probably going to be much easier, but we'll figure it out, like you said.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
All right, y'all.
Take us out.
All right, it's June 4th, 2025, from Texas to the world. Thank y'all, and God bless.